Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is many a true nerd, and welcome to Ace Attorney, which is a game about... I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure, which is kind of why I'm here today, because I have never played any part of this franchise before. Like, I conceptually understand it involves courtrooms, and on occasion, someone yells objection, and that's about it actually, that's all I know. So, right, it just got, a bit of a remaster re-release thing, so, dive on in and see what I've been missing. Episode 1, Turnabout Visitor. March 14th, 1:16 in the morning. Somewhere, we don't know where apparently. And to make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor after all. And that may be true, but why? Why go this far? I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. Okay, so I think I figured out who did it when this, comes to court. It was this guy, the guy with the medal. He was the guy that did it. So okay, I'm just trying to remember his face, because he definitely just did a murder. March 14th, 2:05 in the morning, prosecutor's building, 12th floor hallway. So, right, I'm guessing we've got, a murder to solve. I say solve. Okay, John, you might not be able to prove it, right? We're going to court. We need to prove it was that guy, whoever that guy was. And it's hard to believe I've been away from my office for an entire month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office, and keeping it clean. Oh. Am I about to, yes, walk in on a corpse and whatnot? Right, that might be where we're going with this. That might be where that murder just took place, half an hour ago or whatnot. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about Detective Gumshoe. And what's this smell? It's very familiar. Blood. Okay, so right, there's definitely, something a bit wrong in my office right now. And I think things are about to go from bad to worse because, I've just been cocking set up, haven't I? So, right, the police have highly conveniently arrived at the exact moment I found the body. So you, sir, identify yourself. And okay, the lad doesn't feel like talking. You've got some nerve of committing murder in a prosecutor's office. And then he shot that picture over there for some reason, so... right, my chappie seems, not particularly fussed by all of this, that's good at least. So alright, who, sir, are you precisely? And let me make one thing very clear. And what's that? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. I like the way he's put that, implying this is not the first time this has happened. This is just something that occasionally occurs, and on every previous occasion, he's managed to, straighten it out eventually. And alright, that apparently intimidated the murderer quite a lot, because he's just naffed off a bit. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. So okay, time to figure out what's going on here precisely. Okay, straight away, I have serious concerns about the legal process we're going through here, because, forensics have shown up to, take photos, etc, etc. But they're saluting me, and calling me sir. I should not be here, I should be under arrest, and they should definitely not be calling me sir. My authority over these individuals should most definitely be suspended for the time being, and no one who's saluting me and calling me sir should be investigating a murder that happened in my office, because I should definitely be the prime suspect. Okay, apparently it's only me that feels that way, because more people are just barging in and calling me sir, and asking if I'm okay, when I should blatantly be the prime suspect here. And keep it down, detective, this is a crime scene, so, I think I did see... right, hang on, over to my journal and whatnot. Okay, that was Detective Gumshoe or whatnot. So I'm guessing, yes, this is your boss who's just arrived, which is why he's in such a hurry. Also, apparently, I've got a really cocking fancy badge, which I think is lovely, and, I'm going to be honest, if I had a badge that fancy for my job, I would not keep it in my pocket. I would be wearing that thing 24/7. So, when I heard a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. And this is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local... Oh, hang on. I thought we saw at the start that Gumshoe was dead, so... Right, okay, there might be shenanigans here, I'm not sure. But this guy is apparently a detective with the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it, and... No, this is the opposite of true. Like, you are so close to this case that you should be the last person investigating it. This would be a wildly biased investigation that could never stand up in court, but okay, I feel like we're working under some sort of bizarro legal court rule system here. We're just gonna have to, figure out how this works as we go. Gotcha. So, let's discuss the mystery we're solving here. So, crime scene, my office. Is it coincidence the murder took place here? Probably not, to be honest, no. But okay, let's go into brain mode and sort of prove it. So, crime scene, my office. Connect that to the fact that, right, there's a lock on the door. I've got a key for aforementioned lock. So, if someone got in and the lock wasn't broken or whatnot, that means that someone had a copy of the key, right? So, connect those two pieces of evidence together and... What's got a health bar or something in the top left? Is that the health bar for my brain or my logic or something? And... Okay, I do enjoy how dramatic this game is. This is lovely. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as a mere coincidence. And okay, I'm not actually sure that makes logical sense, or at least it doesn't prove anything. I mean, sure, the fact there's a lock on the door means it's difficult to get into this room, but it doesn't mean that they were going for your room specifically. They could have been, say, robbing this building, breaking into rooms, seeing if they could get valuables, etc, etc. You have no way of proving they were targeting your office specifically, so... Okay, I feel like me and you, Miles, we're gonna have disagreements about logical connections here. Okay, thing number 2, the killer's goal. Why did this happen in my office, and what was the killer after? Oh, and blimey, here we go, we're beginning a dramatic investigation, so, right, to solve that mystery, I need to, gather clues and whatnot. Right, step 1, probably examine the cockeyed body, which is not really what an attorney should be doing, but sure, I'm just like an attorney and a detective rolled into one, it's fine. And okay, step 1, have a bit of a poke around. There's obviously, some blood on that hand. There's blood all over his lower abdomen area. I'm gonna be honest, I was looking at the hand, but fine. He was shot in, the stomach, presumably tried to grip the wound with his hand, and that's why he's got blood on it. Also, I'm not sure I'm allowed to comment on it right now, but I can't help but notice that, would rather appear that, the victim may have been trying to write something in blood, because that looks to me like possibly Gumshoe upside down. But okay. For the time being, it looks like yes, I can't actually see that. So, right, I'm a much better investigator than Miles Edgeworth, because I have definitely noticed someone appears to have written Gumshoe in blood right there. But neither me or Gumshoe seem to have noticed that. Right, for the time being, focus on, yes, that's either a wallet or a mobile phone. Have a bit of a look-see at all over this, and, no, it's a police badge. Right, so this guy was Buddy Faith. He was a detective. So in which case, why didn't Gumshoe recognise him immediately? And finally, a whole bunch of books on the floor, signs of a struggle. That I'm not sure about. If he was shot, he could have fallen backwards into the shelving unit. I'm not sure, that necessarily means signs of a struggle. Oh, and that's true. Miles did say at the start, yeah, Gumshoe was supposed to be minding the office. The entire point is, the door's locked, and you'd need a key. But if Gumshoe was minding my office while I was away, he had a key. Okay, so we should arrest Gumshoe right now. Gumshoe did it. Aside from the fact we know who did it, because it was the guy with, the gold medal and whatnot. So, okay, just arrest everyone, including me, because I should still definitely be the prime suspect. Right, next up, the gun. So, presumably the murder weapon, but we can't be 100% sure just yet. And if so, it would mean the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. That's true, I was in the office with the guy briefly, so he tossed it down on the way out. Which would be weird and sloppy. Why would you do said thing? And Gumshoe has issued the exact same model. At least he thinks so. So, okay, you are just piling more and more evidence against yourself, Mr. Gumshoe. I would just stop talking if I was you. Though that might suggest hang on. If that's just the gun they give to detectives, maybe this guy was killed with his own gun. It might be his. We could check his body for a holster, say. Okay, that's enough of that. Activate thinking mode and... like thinking mode. Thinking mode is great. So, okay. Why did this happen in my office, or what was the killer after? According to his badge and ID, the guy was a detective. Same model as those used by the precinct detectives. I'm going to connect those two things together to see if the game comes to the same conclusion I did. That presumably, this might be, yes, his own gun, or alternatively, that wasn't the gun that was used to kill him. He drew his gun and dropped it when he was shot. The killer took his gun with him. This is not the gun that was like the murder weapon. So here we go. Plug these two things together. Connect them and... alright. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Good, 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 good. I did come to the right conclusion. And there we go and check for a gun holster. So right, me and this game, we're on the same page. Brilliant. Now the next question is, can we check the gun to see if it's been recently fired or not? Because yes, he might have just dropped it, having tried to fight back, or alternatively, he could have been killed with his own gun. Oh, and here we flipping go. Right, me and this game, we're on the same page here. So, time to figure out, yes, precisely what's going on here. Can we determine if this gun's been fired? Because I know nothing about guns, so I wouldn't know how to check this. Okay, 1 round has been fired from this gun, and he's got 1 gunshot wound. So, right, that would make sense that yes, this was the gun used to kill him. But once again, can we check how recently it was fired? Well, nothing else we can do for now. Instead, we're just going to, ship the body out, except apparently there's an interruption incoming. Jim! Okay, someone's come running in, knocking Gumshoe to the ground, and, okay. So, guy wearing a gold medal just ran in. Right, so this is awkward, because, I'm pretty sure I know you did it, but no one else knows you did it, so, okay, just arrest literally everybody in the room, including the corpse. Why not? Everybody, just to be safe. Also, this guy's name wasn't Jim, so, right, this is getting weird in a hurry. Don't touch me, leave me alone, just let me be. And I'm sorry, but I can't do that because, who are you and why did you just run into a murder scene? And why did the cops not stop you in any way whatsoever? The investigation is still ongoing. Please refrain from touching the body. And the body, don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Okay, once again, his name's not Jim, it's Buddy. Who are you? Do you even know this guy? Where are my manners? And aren't you that prosecutor? And okay, yes I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Alright, that'd be why you were in the building. Gotcha. Jim here was my partner in crime busting, so... okay, prosecutors have got, a pet detective that follows them round in this universe. So, you had this guy, Buddy, and I've got, Detective Gumshoe. Gotcha! Oh, and I'm happy at least one person's pointed out the obvious. Yeah, bloody hell, I should be the prime suspect for this murder, given it was in my locked office, and I was the one who found the body and whatnot. And worse, this guy's turning my own secret weapon. Logic against me. I thought exactly the same thing, Portsman. Only the owner of this office would have the key, which once again very much points the finger at Miles. And that is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. And yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this entire time, pal. I mean, that's true, but he did get back this morning, which is also when the murder happened, so Gumshoe, you are being very trusting of your partner here. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay, so, alright, once again, I'm highly suspicious of Gumshoe. Basically everyone in this room is a suspect for some reason. So the only one who could get in here was me. I wouldn't be laughing about that, Gumshoe. Yeah, that is a problem, actually. So it was you then! You're Jim's killer! I do enjoy this game, it's just people very dramatically tossing accusations at each other. This is great. Okay, now him and the forensics guy are focusing on the body. Hang about. There's one more thing we couldn't get to previously. Your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? Must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. And the killer not only... Oh! John, 1 bullet was fired. 1. But you've got 2 gunshots in the room, so... Oh, I'm a terrible detective. I forgot that detail straight away. They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket you made your prosecutorial debut in, and... okay, I do enjoy that, you know, there are fancy pink jackets that you wear for special days in court. This universe is great. I want to live in this universe. And I think that's precisely what I was supposed to realise. So, right, if I find something that's not quite right, point at it, and tap Y to deduce. I'm guessing dramatically. Oh yeah, incredibly dramatically. I love it. So, I present the contradiction. This is how I do things. Yeah, the victim's revolver. Only 1 shot fired. Though, there is an alternative order of things, which is... yes, it's entirely possible there were 2 guns in play. 1 gun left here, 1 gun taken with the killer. A bullet from one hit the portrait, a bullet from the other hit the guy. And we don't know for certain which way round it is just yet. But, yeah, obviously, the victim's revolver couldn't have fired both shots. Eureka! Blimey, okay. It's not just objection that you yell out, it's also Eureka. Okay, so this game is basically nothing but incredibly over-the-top drama constantly. Oh, I love it! And there we go. There was another handgun present. And one more thing behind that painting, yeah, that's where we were hiding a safe of some description. Presumably I know the code given, you know, it's my safe in my office. Though for now the only important thing is, yes, knowing it exists. Ah, but there is something odd here. This keypad, don't you find it to be a bit too clean? There's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not the keypad itself, so... right, someone's been using my safe while I've been away. And logically, if only, yeah, prosecutors know about the safe, then okay, only another prosecutor would be able to have done this. Right, you, Portsman or whatever your name is, get over here, you're like super under arrest. Though tragically we won't be able to prove it because someone was smart enough to wipe the fingerprints off. And okay, ideally I'd like to connect the fact that, yeah, someone knew about the safe and wiped their fingerprints, but the only person that could have known that would be another prosecutor, to suggest it was a prosecutor that did it, pointing at Portsman or whatever his name was. But okay, that's not an option inside my logic menu, so, I mean, the best we could do is, killer's goal, why was it in my office, what was the killer after? Well, here we go, wiped fingerprints, the connection could be, yeah, the safe. That's what he was after. So, we'll give it a go and see if that makes sense. And alright, I think I figured out what the murderer was after. The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering a theft, I believe. So, okay, that leads to another question, figuring out the motive precisely. Okay. I've got nothing else to find in the office, I don't think, so now, motive theft. Signs of a struggle. Another handgun. I mean, I guess you could argue signs of a struggle and another handgun go together, because that suggests I might need to look for another gun or something. Alternatively, motive theft. How does that logically fit to another handgun or signs of a struggle? I mean, I guess you could argue if the motive was theft, why were people bringing multiple guns in here? I'll see if these two go together to, yes, make me look for the second gun. And... okay, that was not acceptable. I think my brain might have just taken damage or something. Okay, let's try another one, which is, yes, if the motive was a theft, then why did they end up, you know, struggling with each other? They were presumably breaking in together to do some stealing. So, try that out, though it's a bit of a dubious link. Let's see if... never mind, that one's okay, apparently. There's a possibility the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, hang on, that is not the logical leap I was making, but right, that does make sense. So, okay. the files on the floor and whatnot are a consequence of the theft, not the shooting. The guy fell down, absolutely, but that's not what caused the files to be on the floor. They were on the floor already because he was looking for something. So, files go back in their correct positions. Right, we've just, tampered with the scene of a murder, sure, whatever. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. So, yeah. Handprints, etc., though, okay. Here's interesting. That's the bullet down in, 0 or OD, down there. We know he was shot through the abdomen, so if he was standing when he was shot, the angle of the shot would need to have been ridiculously high up, like a ridiculously tall person. That doesn't make sense. Suggesting he was already shot when he was on the ground, like he was pushed over, or maybe bent over, looking through the file, so, okay. This guy was maybe told to get down onto the ground and pick up a particular file, then was shot in the back through the abdomen while he was doing it so he could get the drop on him, except we literally saw the murder. That's not what happened. So, why would the bullet be all the way down there? Because he couldn't have been shot twice because we've already established we know how many bullets have been fired, so, okay, this is getting confusing. I may be overthinking this. I suspect the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. And no, Miles, I disagree, because why would the bullet be down there when he was shot through the abdomen? Like, the guy would have needed to have been standing on your desk for that to make sense in terms of, ballistics trajectory. Obviously, he was shot while he was down on the ground, then tried to get up, but failed, though, then again, that can't be true. Because the handprints are the wrong way round. If he'd been trying to, lever himself up, the fingers would be facing inwards, not outwards. So, no, I cannot make sense of this crime scene. Okay, let's look at this here, because seriously, that bullet positioning does not make sense. So, this is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim. And for the bullet to be lodged so squarely in the file's spine indicates the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. So, okay, the shooting happened and then the files were pulled out later. Otherwise, the bullet wouldn't be right there. Though once again, what was the angle the gun was being held at for this to make any cocking sense? Okay, I've looked at everything. The game's prompting me to deduce. I'm not sure what I'm deducing right now. Okay, it's time to deduce some stuff. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Oh, hang on. I may be right after all, because, seriously, the angle does not cocking make sense here. If he was standing and supporting himself against the thing, that file must be in the wrong position. Which it obviously was, John, because you can literally read what's on the files. Like, the zeros should be first, up here. And if they were up first, then 0D would be located in just the right spot. So, okay, I was cocking right. So, okay, compare that to the crime scene notes, because yes, we know it went through his abdomen. And we know he was facing that way, because the bloody handprints confirm it. So put that together, and oh, there we flipping go. Beautiful. Yeah. The problem, John, isn't that the bullet hole's in the wrong place. It's the file's in the wrong place. Okay, I like that this game is occasionally, taxing the old grey matter a bit. So, right. The problem we've got to solve here isn't the position of the body or the handprints. It's the files. If 0D were at the top, it would be in the right location for everything else to make sense. Like, the handprints and the body, they make sense if you just move the files. And there we flipping go. That makes a lot more cocking sense, doesn't it? And yeah, we're also going to prop the body back up just to demonstrate we're correct, and I'm guessing that's going to reveal, yes, gumshoe written in blood, which I noticed right at the bloody start. So, everything now makes sense. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. Then he put the files back in numerical order, I guess. So, alright, made a bit of a mistake there. Good. Then he proceeded to shoot the victim. But that is true. Why do that, shoot the man, then look through the files once again, putting them back in the wrong order, unless... oh. what if more than one crime was committed here today? What if, yes, this guy was murdered, then the second guy that came in, he was here for unrelated reasons. He was a different person looking for the same thing. And here we go. Finally, cocking gumshoe. So this down over here. What is that? Why does it say gumshoe on there in blood and... Seriously, you should have been arrested quite some time ago, Mr. Gumshoe. And I'd say that's some incredibly incriminating evidence. And shut up, Portsmouth, we know you did it. We literally saw you doing it. Miles, however, has got his eyes on the prize because... Alright, file OH appears to have gone missing. And that kind of fits in with my that second guy was an unrelated guy theory. He came in afterwards and took the file OH, because that's what he was actually bloody after. Meanwhile, the first guy, he was just deliberately trying to set up a fake murder scene here. Well, okay, real murder scene. Someone's definitely dead. I don't think this guy's just pretending. But, yeah. He wrote Gumshoe here to be found. But then, where he'd actually written part of that message, that was the exact location of a file the second guy who came in actually wanted. Investigation complete! Alright, I barely lost any brain power during that. Beautiful! And it looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. Once again, the guy's name was not Jim! Why'd you keep calling him Jim? Oh, here we go. Here we flipping go. We're going for an anime legal showdown right now. It's time for me and this guy to have it out. So, I don't know this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. There must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. So, step one, we need to listen to the witness testimony, find a flaw in it, something that contradicts the evidence, and then open my organizer and present a piece of contradictory evidence. So, right, we need to pick apart this fake story. And if there's nothing I can use, yes, just keep pressing him for more information until I find something I can use. So, right, I just need to find the right moment to toss something in his face. Gotcha. Oh, and here we flipping go. We are having a lawyer Pokemon battle right now. There's even the word argument flashing in the top left. I love this game's style. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Okay. Why would you do aforementioned thing? That was a gun issued to every detective. He would have no reason to steal Jim's gun, because he'd have one too. And furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. Okay, once again, if so, why were the files moved more than once? That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But why would he have done said thing? Why not just leave once he's dead? But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. Okay, this story is full of holes. I'm looking forward to picking this apart. So now we go through this step by step. We can either press him for more, or present contradictory evidence immediately. And for this first point, yeah, I think we can present some evidence straight away. Slight problem. Though I was told, yes, all detectives have this precise gun, I don't have that as like a piece of evidence. It's just like something I know. And while we do know about, the secret safe that only prosecutors know about, his story doesn't depend on the detective knowing about the safe, because the theft in question that he's accusing him of is the files. So, okay, we can't really do anything with that either. Now, we do have an inconsistency with, available evidence here on statement 4, because you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. If your story is, yes, you move the body, then he wrote that note while Gumshoe was escaping, then how is one of those files missing? Who took that file? Now, admittedly, I think this is a completely unrelated person too, but screw it, we're going to give it a go and see if this works, because presumably, I've got plenty of— oh, there we go! We did the thing! We yelled objection! So perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there's a serious flaw in your logic. I'm bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem. And I can't help but find it odd, excuse me, odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. And what are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. Okay, this is all very, very dramatic and over the top, it's brilliant. If you have time to laugh, then you've got the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? And what? That's impossible. And what's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing at all. So okay, he's basically just given away that was not there last time he came into the office. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. Okay, but once again, I'm just working under the assumption there was a second guy that did it, who wasn't the murderer, that second guy being the person I ran into at like 2 AM, because why would the killer still be hanging around 30 minutes later? And it's possible they could have taken the file before committing the murder. No, they definitely couldn't have done that, because, you wouldn't have written gumshoe with a missing S over a blank file. You would have just written it elsewhere, or pushed the files together. That's a really bad counter, Mr. Portsman. So okay, Portsman is very suspicious right now, assuming the fact that, thanks to our meta-knowledge as the players, we know he did it, but, okay. We still don't have, solid proof here, because, once again, the presence of a second gun and possibly a second person who came in a half an hour later, well, that's the guy that took the file, isn't it? And Portsman finds this very amusing, brilliant, absolutely splendid, logic deserving of Olympic gold. And he should be one to speak, given he's wearing an Olympic gold medal right now for some reason. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. And you win some, you lose some, that's how life goes. And I'm glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Feel bad for Paul Gumshoe. He's got caught up in some very dramatic nonsense all of a sudden. But it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. And what is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? And humour me for a second. Who has the key to this office? Okay, now that is more compelling evidence I will give you. Oh, blimey, hang on, stuff's getting serious. He just, put on an extra jacket because now he's gonna lawyer extra hard. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. Then why do I sense you've still got something to say? Okay, he just put on the jacket. Stop taking the jacket on and off, you weirdo! Right, I was thinking, did you know there is one other person with a key to this office? One other person? Okay, stop taking your jacket on and off, it's really odd! You there, yes sir, what is it, sir? And okay, do some of the police officers have keys or something? No. Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? The girl is a member of this building security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal, or don't, and... Okay, chill out, buddy. Chill out. It's fine. We're just maybe accusing her now. I've called upon Miss Maggie Byrde, a member of security. So, hello there. Lovely to meet you. Detective Gumshoe, sir. And Maggie, oh dear. How do you two know each other? Miss Byrde is the security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all office doors in this building. So, okay. In theory, she could have been person number 2. I'm still sticking by the 2-person theory. So, yeah. She could have been the person that came in a second, took the file, and had a gun pointed at my back at 2 AM. If you are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Byrde. So, okay. Are you going to try and, manipulate him into confessing to save his, I don't know, daughter or whatever? And how dare you? I would never sneak into someone's room. And that's right, I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right, I did it, and there we go. Gumshoe, chill out for a second, okay? Just let me use some logic to defeat this guy. Oh, hang on, Portsman's back in serious mode. He's put his jacket on again. So, okay. Listen to your boss, he understands what I'm saying here. I love this guy. I want him to get off scot-free. He's just too fantastic to be sent to jail. The girl is the only other one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Yeah, she's the only one with the key if the door was never forced open. So, Miss Byrde snuck into the office with the master key. We can't really, do anything about that, to be honest, so, right. If Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, it must be Miss Byrde. On top of that, yes, what's the connection between these two? Make it all the more probable she was the one who faked the dying message. I mean, she knows his name, but if they're close in some capacity, like close enough that he'd be willing to toss himself under the bus for her, why would she be framing him? Okay, here we go. Activate rebuttal mode. So right now, yeah, I don't have any good evidence to really throw at him because the master key exists, but okay. His argument is sound for the time being. We need to get something more out of him. In which case, yeah, just keep pressing him for more and more information.
Hold it!
Oh, now we yell, hold it! Brilliant! And are you sure Miss Byrde is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff at this time of night. And tonight, she's it. Okay, Portsman's got some good arguments going on here. Oh, but Byrde's got something to say. I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to. Right, Byrde, what are you on about? No, 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 we are not moving on here. Byrde, what have you got to say? I discovered the master key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. And what you mean by missing? As in it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, so, okay, admittedly you're saying that with, like, no witnesses, no alibi, no anything, so, okay. We don't necessarily know that's true. And if that's the case, then I'd like to know, why do you have the master key now? And okay, Portsman's got a very good point there. And I don't quite know, it all just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Okay, Byrde, this is sufficiently flimsy. We should be arresting you. Just, once again, arrest literally everybody in the room. Ah, but hang on. We've got him now because, yeah, he's mentioned the safe, specifically. I thought about this earlier, for, yes, Gumshoe. But now you've mentioned the safe, sir, only prosecutors know about the safe's existence. It's a secret.
Objection!
Alright, we got to yell objection again. So okay, what are you gonna do with that information, Portsman? He's so shocked he's taken his jacket off again, so, right, caught in another lie, though, admittedly, Portsman, you could just say, okay, the safe's unrelated, she was just after the files. There's plenty of evidence the files were gone through, but, okay, the lad's panicking. Don't interrupt him while he's making a very dramatic anime mistake. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted, suggesting, alright, the person who did it might well be, oh, I don't know, say, a prosecutor. I'm a prosecutor. Okay, I'm just making a case against myself right now. Curses! Why? What made you know, seriously, Portsman? You could explain your way out of this so easily. But okay, fine. He's about to do his big, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you lousy kids' speech. Brilliant. It's all my fault. And what you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes and... Okay, what are you trying to bloody do now, Portsman? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. Then that means, yeah, I know, I'd only just told him to. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. So, okay, hang on. In your new dumb story, Jim broke in, having stolen the key, and then, like, tried to get into the safe and went through the files, but then that makes no sense because we've established the files were gone through twice, so why did the killer, who wasn't the thief, go through the files the second time, Portsman? It was Jim who stole the master key. Okay, Byrde does not agree with that. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be with us, unless... well, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him, Portsman. This is flimsy. Okay, you're getting desperate, sir. Also, hang on. Is he now trying to kick us out of the office, having changed his story several times, and also just after we established a prosecutor was a likely suspect, so... Okay, you can't do this. What bizarro rules are we playing by here? Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. Sorry, you've been assigned to the case of your own murdered partner? Well, that's a cocky conflict of interest. Okay, we've been kicked out of the office, but no, this is not over. We're bringing this guy to justice, okay? So, okay, we've now got ourselves, well, a very small section of hallway to explore. So, right, this I think is the room we were just kicked out of. So, any chance would this be Mr. Portsman's office? And if so, could we go and ransack it? This office. And 12:03, Maggie, whose room is this? Mr. Portsman's. Good, let's go dig some skeletons out of that closet. Oh, we can't go in, which makes sense because, yes, the entire case rests on the fact that, you can't just go into these rooms. They're, like, locked up and whatnot. So, okay, keep on keeping on. Well, one, there's a mysterious basketball hoop here. Bit unusual for just outside a prosecutor's office. Mr. Portsman's prized possession, apparently. Heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball. Right, hence, you know, all of the sporty gear he wears. And hang on. Is that by any chance a file OH down there? There's definitely something going on. Hang about. Pull that out, because that looks like... There it flippin' is. Good. But why would someone, you know, steal that, then immediately afterwards just dump it straight outside the office? Because all they needed was a few pages. Gotcha. Take them, dump the rest. Bare minimum, though, using what was taken, we could presumably figure out precisely what the thief was after. The cases within these files are not mine. They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were, so, okay. Something involving someone else, potentially. Only the pages related to a case from 10 years ago are missing, so, right, I'm guessing after we're done wrapping this nonsense up, that's where the rest of the game goes. And on top of that, I can examine my own door. Okay, one thing of note, yeah, confirming the door is sufficiently strong and nobody forced it. That's deemed functionally impossible. Meanwhile, over by, yeah, the keyhole or whatever, no sign of forced entry. According to the guard, and no sign the lock was picked either. So, okay, had to have been opened with the key. We've got that confirmed. Though, did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think, so, just like the safe, someone did a nice clean job. Okay, I think that's everything in the corridor, but we've also got, yeah, Maggie here. And we can present her with a yes, anything of our choosing, so, Maggie. The key. This entire case rests on a yes, the fact that it was stolen from you. By the time I realised the key was stolen, it was about 1 AM, I think, sir. And I noticed it was back around 2:30. He was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. So, okay. It was not just gone, but stolen. Master key was stolen, so right. That's not new information, but now we've got it as evidence. And that's true. Why was such an important key stored in an insecure place? And it's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. And always, you say, except for this one time. I admit I was careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I'd used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge. She used the master key. Okay. That's, suspicious right there, Maggie. Honestly, Portsman may be right. Maybe we should arrest her right now. And what do you mean you used the master key, Maggie? What the cock's going on here? Had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who'd forgotten his key. Okay, hang on. Hang on. This feels like something you should have mentioned earlier, Maggie. A prosecutor that came into this building at like 1 AM just before a murder was committed, possibly by a prosecutor, so... Not the brightest tool in the shed, gotcha. That's right, I just remembered, the prosecutor who forgot his key, it was Mr. Portsman, sir, so... Okay. So Mr. Portsman was let into the building just before the murder occurred at 1 AM in the morning, and you didn't think that was worth mentioning until now, Birds. And that was around midnight, so right, just before the murder and whatnot. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then what happened after that? He called for me to come and close up his office as he was leaving to go home, so... Right, you were in this hallway at the time, but he never had the key. But bare minimum, that was enough that he saw that 1, you had it, and 2, where it was kept. So, yeah, potentially of interest. Except hang on. If you, yes, use the master key to open and close his office at midnight on 1:30 AM, but the key was missing from 1 AM till 2:30 AM, how did you shut the office at 1:30? You're right, it was around that very time that I realised the master key was missing. I'm a security guard, sir. Couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. So, right. You lost the cooking master key. And then you left the prosecutor's room open because you were too embarrassed to admit it, so... Okay, even if you didn't do the murder, that's possibly a crime anyway, Maggie. I'm sure we could have you on, like, criminal negligence or something there. Oh, and that reminds me, sir, Mr. Portsman had actually originally wanted room 1202, where we now know there were old files pertaining to the case 10 years ago, so, okay, it's all coming together. Though hang on, that suggests this door's still cocking open. Oh, but here's interesting. The door's locked tight. But it shouldn't be. Eureka! And there we flippy go. There's a contradiction between reality and the evidence. Who locked up this door and when? Unless, of course, the door Miss Byrde opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one because the labels on the door could just be removed, slid in and out, meaning... Oh, flippy K. She was tricked by Portsman into opening 1202. She just thought it was 1203. Okay, that's quite clever. To prove it though, right, prints on the doorknob or prints on the number plate. Key doesn't matter. The problem with the doorknob is, yes, people would have been touching that all the time potentially. So, yeah. Prints on the number plate feels, you know, more significant because no one's going to be touching those on any regular basis. Someone does the old number plate switcheroo, yeah, Portsman's fingers would be right on the plates. Oh, never mind, my brain just exploded, apparently that's not right. No, seriously, that does make sense. Like, if Portsman swapped the labels round, his prints are going to be on the number plates. Okay, I still think I'm right, but you know, checking whether her prints are on the doorknob would work too. Just maybe less reliably because, you know, she's a security guard. She might have touched the door another time. And there we go. Only Mr. Portsman and Mr. Faith's prints on the doorknob, meaning she never opened it in the first place. And on top of that, hang on, we've now discovered something new down bottom. A note from the victim. I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, so, okay, note put under the door, but potentially, was it put under the wrong door if there was all sorts of nonsense going on with, yeah, the wrong labels on the wrong door? Oh, but more importantly, this basketball hoop's been moved recently. Because it's so distinctive, if you were to move it, it would further just, you know, reinforce which office was which. He moved it to mine in order to fool Maggie. Okay, that's apparently everything. Got my brain sorted out, good. Let's go flipping toss Portsman in prison. Oh, here we go. It's time for our Pokemon Gym battle against Mr. Portsman. So, okay, let's figure out what we need to do here. All we've got as a starting point is yes. How may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? That we do have a direct answer to. You use the master key, sir. Because you directed this person to open my door with the key, Maggie Byrde, and we can prove that by, well actually, we can't prove like, you know, you were shuffling around the door labels, because apparently that doesn't count as evidence for some reason, but the basketball hoop's a thing, like that had clearly been moved.
Take that!
We just occasionally yell, take that as well, it's marvellous. So, yes, you asked Miss Byrde to open your office door. But it wasn't your door, was it? And here we go. What was it Mr. Portsman used to make Miss Byrde think it was his room? The moved basketball hoop.
Take that!
There we go, more yelling of take that, brilliant. The basketball hoop, sir. Okay, this is all getting very dramatic here. Oh, and there we go, he's doing an anime panic again, beautiful. Okay, he's recovered, he's gonna have some other theory going on here. Your conjecture is a bit off track. Here we go, we're going into like gym fight stage 2 here. And you know he means business because he's put the jacket on again. And Miss Byrde is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. Okay, now you just made this personal, Portsman, that's over the line. It's a nice jacket, how dare you? In fact, I wouldn't really call it a jacket. Like, you know, it's a sweater at best. Okay, the problem is, yes, what do I do now? Had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. you don't have a single reason to suspect me. Aside from one thing, I was in my room the entire time. No, you weren't. Because a note specifically said you weren't in your room, though this could have been left, like, sometime before. We've no reason to assume this was left, like, within the last few hours, but screw it, we'll give it a go. Bare minimum, yeah, if this was posted through your door just before the murder by the victim, then yeah, you were not in your office at the time. In fact, hang on. If you were in the office at the time, how on earth did you not hear multiple gunshots?
Objection!
Honestly, I feel like the bigger objection is there were several gunshots next door and you claim you didn't hear any of them. But okay, that's not what we're going for. We're going for the note thing. The note thing is way less of a smoking gun. The literal smoking gun, that's the smoking gun. I love how he just pulls this one anime face when he panics all the time before immediately recovering, putting his jacket on and throwing out a new wild theory. It's great. So okay, working a theory right now. This guy brings the evidence round somewhere around 1 AM, though, if so, it's admittedly odd that, you know, Maggie didn't mention that she saw him too, but maybe he went in a different way because he hadn't forgotten his key, so he didn't need to go to security. He brings in the evidence, puts the note under the door, and then hears some noise coming from next door, goes to investigate, and finds his friend Portsman in my office, though, okay, if so, and Portsman was already in the office, then surely he would have put this note under the wrong door, because, you know, the entire point is, the labels have been switched and the basketball hoop was moved. So, okay, there are some holes here, but I'm sure it's all fine. We're getting to the nitty-gritty, though. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. Okay, I swear there was a second person involved, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Oh, the jacket's back on, he's making up another nonsense story, so, okay. The note that Jim left for me, do you know precisely when that was? I don't, you know, he could have left that at any time, that's incredibly flimsy. For all we know, he could have left that there before I arrived at the office. That's fair, the note is incredibly flimsy evidence. Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove he didn't simply overlook it, so, okay. We need to find something, you know, that can really bloody stick yet. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Okay, stuff's getting serious now. And you just realised I had one as we were talking, so, I enjoy how much stuff that is critical to the case people just forget to mention till we're mid-anime legal showdown. And okay, we've got a problem. The guys down in Criminal Affairs said they saw him in there around 2 AM, so, okay. That means he wasn't there when I got back to my office, he wasn't the guy with a gun in my back, but... Okay, I'm returning to the two people theory, I think that's still got legs. Okay, I arrived at the office at 2 AM. That's when there was a gunpoint confrontation with the culprits. Then I was down in Criminal Affairs, ask around. I've not got any evidence to counter that, so right, let's just press these points and see what comes out of it. Oh, never mind, pressing hasn't got anywhere. He does have a perfect alibi. Okay, possibly I was completely wrong and this is all highly embarrassing for me. I think we've reached the end of the line and it's time to get off this crazy train, so, oh dear, I've been defeated by a sudden alibi. Oh, hang on. No, I was correct right from the cocking start. Another handgun suggests another person. Mr. Portsman's alibi, and another cocking handgun. Connect them. There was a second person here. I knew this right from the cocking start. And that other visitor could have been the person who did, yes, the second set of ransacking. So, okay, it turns out I'm a genius at solving crime, and I figured it out way earlier than Miles here. And if that's true, that makes the alibi completely irrelevant, because we're no longer accusing him of being in the office at 2 AM, just about 1:30. So okay, just one last thing to prove here, which is we've now got to place him here at the time of the first incursion at 1:30. So, the thief who I claim is the second man, that should be your real suspect. We should be out there looking for that thief right now, they may still be nearby. Hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. When Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs, so, Okay. Okay. But, hang on, you were down at Criminal Affairs at 2 a.m. Jim had been dead for half an hour by that point. And why didn't you go there with Jim? And that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. No, seriously, he was already dead. If this was at 2 a.m., he's been dead for 30 minutes, so... Wait, either I'm confused or the game is, and it's probably me, to be honest, yes. And as for the evidence, that was stuff related to yesterday's case. 2 items, a gun and a pendant, and... hang on. Hang on. I don't think that's true, actually. 3 pieces of evidence. You're hiding something. Come on, buddy. What is it you're hiding? Because there were 3 bits of evidence, not 2. I can't believe it to get tripped up by simple arithmetic. And where is the missing piece of evidence, sir? And it's... You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. He's made that face like 6 times so far, Miles. Detective Gumshoe, you don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. I mean, I really feel like we should have just patted everyone down, like 5 hours ago, the moment this started, but fine, whatever. And he had this on him, sir. A VHS tape. Okay, possibly this game's set to the 90s, I'm not sure. So, okay, we got a tape here. KG8 incident. Hang about. Okay, I don't know what that is. Police case number, sir. Does it mean the video's evidence from that case? And, by any chance, is that the same case with, yes, the missing case notes from the folder? Interesting, but that's not what's important. Let's give the casing a thorough going over, because... Okay, the blood splatter. That feels important, yes. And that, sir, puts you at the scene of the murder. Oh, hang on. He's gone to a new level of anime nonsense. He's eaten his own gold medal and then... Okay, I think he just died. Oh, yeah, he's gone now. He doesn't exist anymore. He's either arrested or he's dead. But, like, in either case, I think we can safely say the case is closed. And there we go. We have successfully solved the first case. Meaning next up would be Episode 2, Turnabout Airlines, though, okay, I'm guessing that one would be significantly longer and more complicated. And that was already pretty long and complicated. Still, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that there is Ace Attorney Investigation. So, okay, in this new, like, re-release, remaster, whatever, you get that, and also Ace Attorney Investigations too. And I will say, I like it in large part for how ridiculously, needlessly dramatic it is, like, all the time. That's just a cocky delight. So, okay, this is a weird, interesting one. I don't know what to make of this, so maybe, I'll have a bit of a tinker with this in my own time, see if I come to any more conclusions about it, but I will say, it is weird and wonderful and unique and probably well worth a look-see, so link in the description below, and who knows, maybe in future we'll have some more detective nonsense on the channel. We shall flipping see. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Ace Attorney Investigations. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Were we doing virtual reality, or was that just like a metaphor for lesbian sex? And then he smacked me lightly across the face with the money! What? This is... where is this going? What's happening? We're gonna buy a whole new bin, and we're gonna write Brendan on it, and we're gonna put him in it and toss it off the pier.